Hey y'all, just popping on real quick to stream this press conference. It was kind of a last minute thing because I wasn't expecting on coming on, but my kid just went to his dad's because he's going to the Thanksgiving Day parade tomorrow. So I was like, I might as well just throw it up. So let me connect. Give me 1 second. Wait, sorry. Hey Jeremiah. Sorry, I was looking at TikToks. My TikTok went off when I opened my phone. All right, let me connect my screen. We got like 4 minutes left. I've just been going down rabbit holes of TikToks and all that jazz. I don't know why my internet is being funky. Hopefully I don't have any issues because it's saying that my internet is like being... Oh, good. I'll check them out. Well, hopefully I don't have any issues because it's saying that my internet is weird. I don't know why. Saying my connection's unstable. Well, let's pray it works. Hey Cheryl, how are you? Oh man. I just wanted to put this on real quick. I don't know if I'll be on too long, but I just wanted to pop this on. Oh man, I don't know why it's saying this. I have like a little Wi-Fi thing on my screen that says connection unstable, and I don't know why it's saying that. Can you guys hear me okay? As long as you can hear me okay, I don't care. 3 minutes. So what do you guys think? I'm convinced that it's somebody from Xana and Ethan's job. I mean, not Xana, sorry. Xana and Maddie's job. And that Ethan and Kaylee were like collateral, or maybe he even knew who Kaylee was because she probably... I really think it's someone from their job. I feel like if Kaylee and Maddie alone were the target, they wouldn't have stopped in Ethan and Xana's room. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna use my nose spray real quick. I'm getting a cold. I think everybody's getting a cold. Like every single person that I've talked to, everyone's getting a cold. Of course, right before Thanksgiving. Anyone doing anything good for Thanksgiving? Any special plans? My kid's going to the parade in Philadelphia tomorrow. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it. Not because it's saying my connection's weird. I'm going to keep it. I'm not gonna make it full screen because if I make it full screen, it's gonna get messed up. Hey LFT. Hopefully I don't have any issues. For some reason my thing keeps saying connection unstable. So let me know if there is. I don't know why it's saying this, but it's pissing me off. So I'm not gonna make it. Well, I could try and make it full screen. I'm just afraid if I do, it's gonna be funky. Oh, I'm so nervous. I wonder what they're gonna say now, or if they have any new leads. So they were saying that there was an incident with a guy who was like sitting in the front seat of some girl's car, and they walked over and seen him, and it scared them. Oh no!
I just want to let you guys know that there will be a question and answer time. We're going to try and extend it today to be a little bit longer, so that way more people have the opportunity.
His audio is really quiet.
We have gentleman will be passing around a microphone, and he does not know what organization you're from, and so this will so it's purely random. So please keep questions to one or two, and we'll try and get to as many people as possible. So thank you.
But I can feel it coming on. Getting all stuffed up. Right here in my voice, I'm sure. My throat's getting a little scratchy. I can feel the beginning stages of a cold. Here we go. Hey, Jameson. Sorry if the audio's quiet.
My name's Chief James Fry with the Moscow Police Department. Joining me today is Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department, Moscow Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer, Colonel Kedrick Wills of the Idaho State Police, University of Idaho President Scott Green, University of Idaho Dean of Students Blaine Eccles, and Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. We are thankful for all the tips and leads the public has provided in Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison's murder investigation. No bit of information is too small, and every tip will be pursued. So far, this information has helped investigators build a picture of the areas of interest and the relationships these four had with each other and our community. We still believe there's more information to be gathered, which will continue creating a window through which we view this case. We all want to understand why this happened and what drove someone to do this. The families of those involved and our entire community deserve to know. We ask anyone with any information related to what happened with these four who are in our community, their interaction with others, and whether they expressed concern or commented about someone or something strange to get that information to us. Even if you don't believe it is relevant, investigators will review and determine if and how your information builds the picture. Sometimes what a video or picture doesn't show is equally as important as what might be there. Information on how to submit tips and updates on the investigation can be found on the Moscow Police Department webpage. We continue moving forward to understand why this occurred in our community and seek answers to bring justice for the victims and their loved ones because they deserve it. I personally want you to know we care and we will continue to work hard to get these answers for these individuals. At this time, I'd like to introduce Captain Roger Lanier for an update on what we can currently share about this investigation.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Roger Lanier with the Moscow Police Department. I want to assure you first off that the loss of Xana, Kaylee, Madison, and Ethan remains the highest priority for the Moscow Police Department. We will continue putting all of our resources into investigating and solving these murders. Investigators are prepared to work through the Thanksgiving holiday to continue their efforts. I also want to express our sincere appreciation to the Idaho State Police, the FBI, University of Idaho, and the Latah County Sheriff's Office for their assistance. And I especially want to thank the community of Moscow for their outpouring of support through this incredibly difficult time. Today, I'm going to recap in brief what we know. I'm going to provide some new information, and I'm going to address some rumors. On the evening of November 12th and into the early morning hours of November 13th, Kaylee and Madison arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. after visiting a local bar and a street food vendor. Ethan and Xana were also out in the community at Sigma Chi, and they arrived home at approximately 1:45 a.m. Two surviving roommates who were also out in the community arrived home at approximately 1 a.m. Later, on the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed. The call reported an unconscious person. call originated from inside the residence, and a surviving roommate's cell phone was used. During that call, the dispatcher spoke to multiple people who were on scene. Moscow police officers responded and found two victims, two on the second floor and two on the third floor of 1122 King Road. The results of autopsies indicated that the four were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds, and there was no sign of sexual assault. We do not believe the following individuals were involved: the two surviving roommates, the male seen in a grub truck video circulating on the internet, a private party who drove Kaylee and Madison home, any of the individuals who spoke to the dispatcher on the 911 call. We're also aware of a male whom Madison and Kaylee had called several times the morning of November 13th, and we do not suspect that individual. Detectives have canvassed the neighborhoods looking for evidence, physical evidence, video surveillance, and they've contacted numerous residents to see if anybody may have seen or heard anything. They continue requesting tips. They can be sent to our tip line or called in to our tip line. The specific areas that we're interested in are detailed on maps on our city website and our Facebook page, but as stated earlier, generally south of Taylor Avenue to Palouse River Drive and the area west of US 95 over to the Arboretum. We have heard mention that Kaylee stated she may have had a stalker. Detectives have been looking into that, and to this point have been unable to corroborate the statement, although we continue to seek information and tips regarding that report. No suspects have been named or arrested, and we continue looking for what we believe to be a fixed blade knife used in the murders. We have not released the names of any of the subjects who spoke on the 911 call, and we have not released the call itself. Any online reports of the victims being tied and gagged are not accurate. Regarding the resources that we've put forth in this investigation, the Moscow Police Department has 4 detectives, 24 patrol officers, and 5 support staff dedicated to this investigation. The FBI has 22 investigators in Moscow and 20 additional agents assigned in various locations, as well as 2 members of the Behavioral Analysis Unit. The Idaho State Police has 20 investigators, a public information team, a forensic services and crime scene team, and 15 uniformed troopers who have been valuable in helping provide community patrols and safety patrols. We very much appreciate their support. This is our highest priority. It will remain our highest priority. We owe that to the families. At this time, I would like to introduce Colonel Kedrick Wills from the Idaho State Police.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you for those that are in attendance today for your attendance. We really appreciate this. What has affected Moscow and the community here has affected all of us as Idahoans. We have a way in Idaho that the communities come together in tough times, and this is one of those tough times. Leads from the community are important, and as the captain spoke, no tip is too small, and we would urge anybody that has any information whatsoever to please provide that to help us solve this case. The lead agency of this case is Moscow Police Department with Chief Fry and his dedicated team of professionals, and the Idaho State Police's role is to support them and their good work here. There's an awful lot of efforts going on behind the scenes, and I'll explain why it's behind the scenes in just a moment. But what can't be seen isn't always known of what we do in law enforcement, and I'd like to explain that in just a moment. But the Idaho State Police and the FBI continue to provide resources to this investigation. I would like to speak for just a moment, if I could, not about this specific case, but rather an overview of how cases are investigated, so that maybe it'll give some sense of the why of the timeline here. We understand you want answers. We want answers too. But these take time, and if I could explain just a minute about the process here of what we go through just generally in investigations. So we use in advanced investigative techniques and crime scene processing. So what happens when a call comes in, the original officers, the first officers that respond to a scene, and then once that they've got their work there and determined that they need some additional investigative assistance, then they call investigators to come and help process that scene. And oftentimes it requires a forensics team to help process that scene. And when I say process the scene, what we're looking for is we're looking for any evidence that may help us to be able to find the person responsible for what we're seeing. And so we're collecting biological evidence, we're collecting latent evidence, whether it's shoe prints or tire marks or anything like that. We're trying to collect that evidence. We're trying to we do that through photographs. We do that through 3D mapping to be able to map the scene. We identify and we mark evidence, and then we collect that evidence. And then we look for any evidence that we think may be helpful. And once that is done, then we package all that evidence up and we send it off to forensics laboratories to be analyzed to see if it can help provide clues of what's happening. All of this takes an immense amount of time. The reason this is important to understand is because it's important that while this is such a tragic circumstance that we find ourselves in law enforcement, we believe we owe this to the surviving families to get this right. And so we're not willing to sacrifice speed for quality. We do testing for blood, we do latent print processing, any documentations for anything at the scene that we can reconstruct that scene at a later date. If I could share just a few statistics of this particular crime scene. At this crime scene, we collected 103 pieces of individual evidence. We took approximately 4,000 photographs. We've conducted multiple 3D scans of the residence, and we have hundreds of hours used by technicians and investigators, including our forensics team and detectives from multiple agencies. We've processed over 1,000 total tips and conducted 150 interviews. I hope that you understand that gives a little bit of a perception of just how complex this case is. We have the utmost confidence in this investigation and that this investigation will be done right. We ask you and we ask the public to please remain patient as this investigation unfolds. And please rely on official sources of information. We really appreciate the media's assistance. We know you have a job to do. We know that you're professionals and you do it to the best of your ability. And we're thankful that you're here because without you, we could not get the correct information to the community that could help us solve this. So I can't overemphasize how much I appreciate and we appreciate in law enforcement your willingness to do this. What you are doing matters. And it matters in what we are committed to doing, and that is the best way we can think of to honor these victims and their families is to conduct this investigation correctly. Finally, I'd like to share that I've been in regular contact with Idaho's Governor Brad Little throughout this investigation. Governor Little is making available up to $1 million for expenses related to this ongoing investigation. As you heard, the resources that are here in Moscow and throughout with this investigation, you can see that those expenses would add up quickly. Like all Idahoans, Governor Little is deeply saddened by the loss of these 4 bright and promising young lives. And he's making sure the state of Idaho provides all of the resources possible to ensure that the person or persons responsible for this are brought to justice. And now I'd like to turn the time over to the University of Idaho President Scott Green.
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Green, President of the University of Idaho. We deeply appreciate the kind words of support we have been receiving from our alumni and friends, as well as many others who may not know us but have taken time to reach out. People are donating to the victims' GoFundMe pages and Bruce Pittman Fund for students in need, and they're buying personal devices for our students and continuing to look for other ways that they can help. This is what it means to be a vandal. In the last 24 hours, we have sent updated communications to our students, employees, parents, and alumni. And in those communications, we discuss campus security, services available to our students and employees, our plans for both remote and live instruction to close the semester, and our plans for a candlelight vigil on November 30. All of this is available on our website. We all want swift justice and continue to work with law enforcement to aid them in any way helpful to their investigation. As the investigation continues, we will better know how to proceed in the new year. We will endeavor to find the balance among safety concerns, the need to grieve, and the long-term needs of all of our students and employees. Through everything we do, we will keep Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, as well as their families and friends, in our thoughts and our prayers. Thank you. I'm sorry, I need to introduce Deputy City Supervisor Tyler Palmer. Tyler, sorry.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyler Palmer. I'm Deputy City Supervisor with the City of Moscow, and I'm here today on behalf of Mayor Arthur Betke, the Moscow City Council, and Moscow City Administration. The loss of Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan has sent an overwhelming, palpable wave of grief, confusion, sorrow, and anger through our peaceful community. Mayor Betke, with the support of our City Council, has instructed staff to marshal all necessary resources for our law enforcement professionals as they diligently work to assure the safety of every member of this community and find the person or people responsible for this. The outpouring of support, kindness, and genuine empathy locally and even globally has been a humbling reminder that those who want to help far outnumber those who want to hurt. And we take some solace in that. To all of you who've reached out, sent letters and cards, provided food for those working around the clock on this investigation, and offered other resources, thank you sincerely. These continued acts of charity and humanity remind us why we live in this tight-knit, caring community. The City of Moscow is committed to seeing this investigation through to a successful end and will continue to dedicate whatever resources are necessary for that effort. We are thankful for the immense support from the University of Idaho, Lake County, Governor Little and his office, the Idaho State Police, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Moscow is my home. And I know we won't be defined by tragedy, but how we respond to it. We mourn the loss of these beautiful young people, and we will relentlessly pursue justice on their behalf. Thank you.
So we would like to open it up to any questions, but I would like to ask if there's an Argonaut reporter here I would like to ask. And then second after that, an Evergreen reporter, if there's one in the room. So let's start with the Argonaut, please.
James Torman Aldrich with the Argonaut. I have two questions, if that's all right. Firstly being what the police presence is going to look like after Thanksgiving break and how long that's going to last.
So I'll go ahead and answer. The police presence is going to be very heavy after the break. We have Idaho State Patrol that will also still be in the area, and you'll see a high impact of patrol officers and troopers, as well as Lake County Sheriff's Department personnel in the area.
And then secondly, will there be any possibility of the release of the 911 phone call, even in transcript form?
Not at this time. That's part of our investigation.
Frankie Beer, the Daily Evergreen. I guess the Moscow PD press release mentioned looking into hundreds of pieces of information about Kaylee's potential stalker. I was wondering what led you to believe she did have a stalker possibly, and why those pieces of information haven't come up with conclusive results.
I'm actually going to let Captain Lanier answer this question, okay?
Thank you, Chief. We obtained information through some of our interviews that Kaylee had made some comments about a stalker, so that's where that came from. We have followed up looking at specific time frames in specific areas of town. So far, we have not been able to corroborate it, but we're not done looking into that piece of information.
Dan Springer, Fox News. If I can get Captain Lanier. Sir, why not tell the public who the target was? You've said that this was a targeted attack. Why not tell the public who was targeted? If it was multiple people, it would go a long ways to telling the public what you're looking for and who you're looking for, the type of person you're looking for. Why not do that to alleviate some of the fears out there in the community?
Well, first and foremost, we have the integrity of the investigation to preserve. And we feel like that information is integral to us and how we conduct our investigation. Releasing that to the public may or may not flood us with a lot of information that's not relevant or specific to what we're looking at. So we do want more information, but we don't want to put our investigation in jeopardy by releasing what we have. There's always a balance between what you're willing to release versus what you're trying to gather. We told the public very clearly from the beginning that we're looking for a knife. We've told the public very clearly from the beginning that we believe it was a targeted attack. I mean, to be honest, you're going to have to trust us on that at this point because we're not going to release why we think that.
Lauren Patterson, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I see that the FBI set up a special web page just to collect digital information. I'm also curious if any of the investigators can speak to this. Curious if the Wi-Fi hotspot has been tapped at all. It's possible if the suspect had their phone on them, it may have pinged off the Wi-Fi in the residence. Has that been checked on at all?
As I stated, our investigation is looking at every avenue of every piece of evidence that we can. The FBI has given us a website for any downloads of video or anything. So we ask people, if you have any of that, to send it to us, please.
Thank you. Natasha Chen, CNN. I have a couple of questions here. One, in many homicide cases, the first hours, the first days are so incredibly crucial. Now that we're moving into a window that's further and further away from the incident, does that concern you about the ability to arrest a suspect, or do you have information that you simply can't share with us that makes you confident that you're close to solving this?
I'm going to have the Colonel step up and address that, please.
Well, thank you for the question, and I would like to address it a little more globally than specifically, a little more globally here. Yes, as time goes on, I mean, we're time past the initial calls for service and the initial crime. However, we also, as time goes on, are able to process the forensics evidence, any forensics evidence that we may have collected, and so that helps us. And we're also able to process the tips that continue to come in, which may help us. And so, while time in one respect is not beneficial, in another respect it is, because it helps provide us with that whole picture of with all of the information that we're gathering, whether it's evidence or tips or any other information that we're gathering, it may help us to provide a clearer picture. And so it may help answer those questions that we're seeking as well.
Hi, Angela Palermo, Idaho Statesman. I was wondering if there's any evidence that suggests the attacker visited the first floor where the two surviving roommates were.
That information will not be released at this time. It's part of our investigation. And as we stated earlier, there's many things that are involved in an investigation that we will release and things we won't.
Good afternoon, Ashley Soriano, Fox News. I have two questions. Have you considered the possibility of a murder-suicide? Is that something that you guys are considering right now?
That question has been asked previously, not at a press conference. It's certainly something that we looked at in the early part of the investigation. It is not something that we're looking at this time.
And I know some of the investigators' vehicles and police vehicles are coming in and out of the driveway. Do you think that potentially could disturb any tire marks or other evidence?
Yeah, so the question has been asked about why did the crime scene tape expand? And that's not uncommon. When the first officers arrived, they tried to cordon off what they thought was important. We immediately expanded that when the investigators got there to process the scene. And logically, as this progresses, and you've seen this through our press releases, we have expanded it to several areas of the city and have in fact canvassed entire neighborhoods. So we try very, very hard to uncover every single bit of evidence possible in an area before we move on to the next area. So yes, we've looked at everything that we think we need to look at in and around the crime scene at this point. Well, it's a gravel parking area, so it would be hard to say that.
How are you folks holding up? How are your detectives and officers holding up? And Chief, you mentioned that detectives are prepared to work tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So is the expectation that they will be?
That is correct. We're going to have many detectives and agents working all the way through this incident. Our people are dedicated. Our people care about this community.
Why don't they ask about sex offenders? Ask if there's a, maybe there's a connection to their job. Like, somebody ask a good freaking question. It's pissing me off.
And we will continue to take care of them, but we're gonna keep pushing on this until we come to a conclusion.
Chris Mitchell, KLEW. Is there any plans to increase security for the Apple Cup on Friday?
I can't speak to what's going on in the state of Washington. I can only speak to what we're doing here on the campus of the University of Idaho in concert with President Green and his team.
Why would somebody ask a question about the state of, like, something going on in Washington?
100% dedicated to making sure that this continues to be a safe place for students to do what students need to do. And so that's why we have so many uniformed troopers here that aren't necessarily assisting with the investigation, but rather here to help with the campus security. And President Green and his team have been fantastic in helping to strike that balance to make sure that we have law enforcement resources here. So while I can't speak what's going on anywhere else, I can tell you at the University of Idaho, we have a lot of state troopers, a severe increase of state troopers and Moscow police officers here, both on campus as well as throughout the community.
John Capel, ABC News. Are investigators looking at any possible connection to an unsolved double stabbing in the Salem, Oregon area about a year and a half ago? Specifically, 2 people stabbed in their home in the middle of the night, long knife, no suspect at this point. One died, one survived.
I think we're looking at every avenue, and we have other agencies reaching out to us with other cases and stuff that we are doing follow up on, and we will continue to follow up on those.
Are you aware of that case?
I actually had a tip come in on that case, and I forwarded it to our tip line.
Okay, one more question. Can you confirm the bodies have been released to the families or are being released today?
I believe they have been released to the family, and I know that I believe one of them has already had a funeral.
Destiny Martin with the LCSC Pathfinder. Can you lend any insights into the possibility that the murder weapon is linked to the ROTC program? And also you mentioned that the analysis unit is here. Will we be able to hear anything from them about a working profile they possibly have? And on that note, have you guys ruled out the possibility that the killer might be a female?
So we look at every avenue. We're looking at every group of people. Like I said early in our first press conference, we're not going to let any stone go unturned. I believe can you just clarify your second portion of that question? Oh, the BAU, sorry.
Yes, I would like to know if the BAU has a working profile because, you look at victimology. Sure. Are you able to tell us who was killed first on the time of death so that we may understand, like, if it was a targeted attack, it would make the most sense if they killed one of the roommates first, and then maybe the other two, I'm not,
Sure.
this is not speculation, I'm getting off topic. My question is, are you guys looking at a working profile? Have they come up with anything new regarding the motive or intentions of the killer or killers?
The BAU unit is working diligently to do what they do. Will that be provided? I'm sure that may be provided once the conclusion of this case comes together.
I doubt it,
We are
Risk.
continually taking in information.
Not that many females carry around K-bar knives.
Good afternoon, Chief. Amanda Rowley with Crime 2. Seeing some speculation with some of the cars being searched this past week. Wonder if you can squash some of the rumors and that speculation. Is there anything you can share specifically on the white car out front, and then a follow-up for the university?
So I'll have Captain Lanier go ahead and come up with that.
Thank you.
Well, we have looked at a lot of different vehicles. I'm assuming you're referring to the vehicles that were in the parking lot at the time. Yeah, so some of those.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely probably some females who have them, but like, I think it's more common for males to have
So for us,
K-bar
part of the
knives
crime
than
scene, I
females.
mentioned earlier, the crime scene was
So I think
expanded
that's why a lot of
a lot.
people's
So
minds go
we
to
wanted
the
to make
male
sure that we
aspect
looked
of
at
it.
those prior to releasing the crime scene. It was part of the initial investigation that night.
Thank you. And for the university, is there any additional information at this time that you can offer about the candlelight vigil, maybe what we can expect from that? And then any other information you can provide about that ask of the community to light the night on November 30th?
Thank you for that. I'm going to turn this over to Blaine Eccles at this point. He's actually planning the whole event.
Good afternoon. I'm Blaine Eccles, Dean of Students. The vigil is going to be hosted next Wednesday, November 30th at 5 p.m. We have it scheduled for the administration lawn at the moment. We're going to make a final determination on location early next week, just because we're waiting for the weather window to get closer, so we feel comfortable that that's where it will be located. We're anticipating a large turnout of community members as well as university members, students, faculty, and staff at that particular event. And all of the families have been invited to join us if they so wish from that aspect of it. The response has just been absolutely beautiful and overwhelming to the love that has been provided to the institution as well as the family members. The Light the Night event that you're talking about, while I don't have a lot of details on that, is set to coincide at the same time, just so that people that can't be here in person as part of the vigil are going to be able to participate remotely as well. The vigil will be live streamed, and it's safe to say that the Vandal family is going to unite, come together to support the families in the darkest moments of their life, quite frankly.
So I'm going to go ahead and take two more questions, okay?
Jordan Smith, KXLY. At this point in time, do investigators know which entrance the suspect used to enter the residence? If this was someone who might have known the door code at the front or maybe used the back door?
Once again, as part of our investigation, we're not going to release that information this time. Thank you.
These media people suck at asking questions.
You said this was a targeted event. You won't tell us why they were targeted. What should students do to prevent being targeted in the future?
Like, these questions are so dumb. You have one question. You can ask stuff about the investigation. And you're asking stuff about.
Especially in light of what just happened.
Just annoys me. Like, you have one question. Ask something good.
We would have had probably a different answer. Moscow's always been a very safe community. In light of this, and maybe we should always look at it this way, vigilance, always traveling in pairs, knowing where you're going, telling someone when you arrive, and just that kind of general awareness.
Locking your
And we
doors.
should, as a community, have always been doing that.
Locking your
In
windows.
some ways, this took our innocence. I would tell students that you need to stay with a friend. I know that the university staff is looking at different options to increase some of the safety on campus and providing certain options to students.
They're
So,
all stupid and
going
faithful.
forward,
Like,
there's
every
a lot of
single
things
question
that
they ask is
maybe we wish
stupid.
we would have done before, but we need to start doing now.
So I'm going to go ahead and close, but what we do want to let our community know that we do care. We do
They could have asked if there's a connection with Maddie and Xana's work. They could have asked if they're looking into sex offenders. They could have asked
let us get there and handle it. But we are
if,
here to provide.
like, I know they're saying they don't believe people are involved, but are they technically cleared? Like, I'm sure people are scared, but I mean, I think it's like obvious, like, what you should do. You know what I mean? Like, lock your doors, lock your windows, lock your bedroom doors, even. Be careful what you post on social media. If it was targeted, it's because, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they could have asked questions that were, like, related to the case, I guess. Like, they asked a lot of stuff that, yeah, like, that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, do you have water? It's like, the questions are just, they're just really stupid. Like, do they have an entry point of where the killer went in? I mean, things like that. I mean, ask something. Like, I would ask, does you saying, like, I'd be like, does you saying, these are what I would ask. Does you saying that you don't think this person involved, is that meaning you cleared them? Or you just think they're not involved? That would be my one question. I would ask if they looked into possible connection from their job. Have they looked into sex offenders? Do they know how the killer entered into the house? Is that really blood on the wall, or is it rust or heating oil or whatever? Stuff like that. Can they ping people's phones and say if they were nearby that night? Somebody asked something similar to that, but I couldn't hear what they said. Like, they could have. There was a horrible murder so close to my house, and would you keeping the shotgun with me? Yeah. Well, yeah, obviously the guy's still on the loose, so I think I get that people are scared, but I mean, the only really thing that the police can say is stay vigilant. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one of them, like, answers where they can't really say anything else besides that. I don't know, but it sounds like, I know people were talking about Jack D today, saying that he wasn't cleared, but it sounds like they made it clear in this one. They said the phone calls that were made by Maddie and Kaylee, they don't believe that individual is involved. So, yeah, that was it. That was it, Parker. He said it was asked what door was part of the investigation. They did ask what door? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Sticky. If they can get a warrant on the phones that were all in the general area at a time, see if they can break it down. Yeah. I think it was one of those things where the girls got freaked out and called some friends over, and then they all called 911 together. That's what it sounds like. I agree, Parker. I think we need to let the Jack thing go. I just, like, I don't think there's anything weird about them calling him that night, and then supposedly she texted him and said, like, hey, please come over. We have a dog together. She probably thought he wasn't answering, and she probably, used Maddie's phone to call to see if he was purposely ignoring her or something, Hey, Queef Eater. Every time I say that name, I start cracking up. They lived in the house for years, so I don't know who lived in the house prior. I'm really thinking it's someone connected to their job. I just get that feeling, because I feel like Kaylee was probably there pretty often, like visiting Maddie or waiting for her. And then it's a family name. And then that would make sense why they went to Xana's room too. I just think there's a connection with maybe their job somehow, or a neighbor. But yeah, I mean, I guess it could be a female. I mean, women can get a hold of K-bar knives for sure, or might have one laying around, or a boyfriend they might be laying around. But I tend to lean towards a male subject because I feel like females usually just don't have them laying around. You know what I mean? And I feel like if a female was going to use a knife, they wouldn't be like, let me go online and order a specific K-bar knife. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just don't get women vibes from this. But oh, and Leilani had her hearing today, and she pled not guilty. Thought that was interesting. I mean, it doesn't shock me, but I thought I'd let you guys know if you didn't see it. She basically didn't show and just had like her lawyer show for her, and her lawyer pled not guilty for her. They sell belt buckles that are concealed knives. Really? That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I feel like it's more of like a male thing, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. We don't know. And they asked if they thought it was due to Aro. They said something like that. She said something about, I couldn't hear that well, and I was trying to read the like, what's it called? Subtitles. But I did see something about ROTC and something about Bay something, or I think Sticky. I don't know, but I think she's gonna try and plead not guilty. But I don't think she's gonna get out of that. If they have her on video dumping him in like a bag or a certain blanket or something, and then they found that and his body, she's not getting out of it. And I doubt they would give her a plea deal because they have good evidence against her. So she can try. She's probably going to plead not guilty and try and throw it on the boyfriend. But it's going to be hard for her to do that because they have her on video, Oddly enough, I own a K-bar knife, but my dad gave it to me. It was a gift from my brother in the Marines. To be honest, it's so sharp. I've only ever taken down the case to look at it once or twice. Yeah, Kristen, that's what I mean. Like, I don't see, like, so I'm saying, like, a female, they could have access to a K-bar knife, some kind of way, and it could be a female, but I feel like it's more of like, yeah, something you would have never gotten yourself exactly. And I feel like even if a woman was planning on murder somebody, their first thought probably would be like, let me order myself a K-bar knife. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, she can fry. I agree, Cheryl. She can fry. Sorry, I had to mute for a second. But yeah, I like my hubby has one in his truck, but we pretty much only use it for like fishing or like I would never carry it around. I mean, it's too big and bulky for me. Like it's just not something that I would particularly just have or even think about using. So I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, it's such a messy and angry crime. I would be shocked if it's female too. I mean, it could be because there has been females who have done that, but I just don't get female vibes with this. She might plead down to You're right, Texas. She might. I don't think she wants to show up for anything, to be honest. I'm in the I'm in the beginning stages of one, Paul, for sure. I can feel it coming on. You know what I mean? Like I feel like my throat's getting a little scratchy and I've been a little stuffed up today, so I'm gonna try and combat it with a bunch of vitamins. I got some vitamin C and elderberry and all that fun stuff, so I'll be okay. But yeah, I do feel like I'm getting a little bit of a cold. But it's not gonna stop me from eating all the good stuff tomorrow. I'm super excited about Thanksgiving. I was talking about food last night. I was so excited. Yeah, they didn't really answer any other questions. I'm really disappointed with that. Hold on, I'm going to pull up their little website thing and see if maybe... So now they have a website where they're sharing all their hot lemon tea with honey. That sounds good. Vitamins and White Claws. Listen, Boston, I cannot drink. Oh, the iPhone link, try this. Give me 1 second. YouTube.com. I think that should work. I always have allergies, so when I but I don't think it's allergies because I only really get them when I come in this room because I have my computer set up close to my laundry room, and my laundry room is where I have my bugs that I raise for my lizards. It's like they have like bins where I breed bugs. And I swear every time I go live, it starts setting me off. Like I'll start sneezing and my eyes will get watery and stuff. So usually when I come over here, I start to get a little bothered, but I've been feeling a little bothered all day, so I think I'm just getting a cold. Cher said she's like someone born with no hard drive. Who, Leilani? Cher said Leilani was born with no. I'm not. I'm an. So when I was in high school and like early 20s, I was a beer girl. They used to call me Keg. Well, I know I'm going to give away my last name if I say that. But they used to call me Keg Sand and then my last name because I used to do keg stands all the time to avoid paying for a cup. But now that I'm older, I can't handle alcohol just like at all. I went out one night. I drank 3 Trulies. I drank them pretty fast though and threw up the whole ride home. Hey, Nina. Nina. So I don't know. I feel like I've like grown a little. Thanks, Paul. Welcome. Now you have a little cute little lizard emoji. I need to start planning some members only streams or something we can do. But Keg Stand Kate. Yeah, you can say that. But yeah, now I feel like I'm like allergic to alcohol now. I have a few drinks and I feel sick every damn time. Like I don't enjoy drinking at all anymore. You wear a mask during flu season. I don't blame you if you have like a weak immune system or health problems. I would wear one too. Or just even if you have no health problems and want to wear it, I don't blame you. Everyone seems to be getting like really bad sickness between either the flu or like COVID again. You know, so many people are sick right now. I don't feel terrible. I just feel like I got a little cold coming. But I swear I get sick like once a month because my kid's 7. You know what I mean? And like he comes home from school once a week with another, cold. It's like probably from like September to like February. I feel like I'm sick every month, and he's sick like every 2 weeks from school. But then towards like, when it gets towards like the end of winter, Keg Stand Kate, your new name. I used to be able to drink guys under the table when I was younger. Now I can't drink at all. I'm a lightweight. I'm on new heart meds and it's giving me cold sweats. I keep getting nervous. I got this. Yeah, you know what? That happens to me too. Like when I take when I take birth control, like when I get to the higher doses, I'll start to get night sweats, and then I'll be like, oh my gosh, am I getting sick? I get like really bad night sweats for some reason. Just when I get to like the later doses and it starts getting in my system. Kate does kegs. That was my plan. You have to pay $5 for a cup, and I never wanted to. But let me tell you, when you go to a party and you go, oh yeah, keg stand, you know, nobody cares. They don't make you pay. They're just like, yeah, come on, lift your legs up. So you just get to keep drinking for free without paying, you know. That was my secret plan. So I get to keep my money. Yeah, birth control does that to me too. Right? Good, then you feel my pain. Thanks, Cheryl. Oh yeah, I rarely leave my house. I went to the DMV on my granddaughter's birthday and I got something. I haven't been sick in years. Milani being denied bondage jurisdiction. The Superior Court can only issue a bond, and there's no way they will. Oh yeah, they definitely aren't going to give her a bond. She's not going to get bonded out with those charges. Does it make your boobs sore too? Singular boob. Cracking up. No night sweats unless I don't take my hormones. Gotcha. I hate night sweats though. There's nothing worse than waking up drenched in your sleep. Like, ugh. Such a terrible feeling. I need to have like a fan on every night. I have to, like, I need my room like optimal cold to sleep with I have like a big fluffy down blanket, and then I need to have like fan or air conditioning. It needs to be cold. And there's just no other way for me to sleep. Oh, when the house is cold too, yeah, and then you wake up and you're all shivering and it's a terrible feeling. I mean, I like always sleeps with fan. Yeah, the fan puts me to sleep too, like the noise of it. And you know what I noticed too? So my kid, he likes a fan too. And I stole his the other night because he was at his dad's. And I stole his fan and I forgot to put it back. And for the past 2 nights, he's woken me up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, then 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, man, what do you keep waking me up in the middle of the night for? And he can't go back to sleep. And I realized it's because he didn't have the fan. Happy birthday, everyone. Love pecan pie. Every time I laugh, I start to get like a tickle in my throat and cough. Yeah, I'm like, it's got to be because I took his fan away. So he's having the fan and he can't. Her eyes do look dead, like black holes. So she, like, what does Cher mean that she was born without a hard drive? Like she has no memory of things? Because like a hard drive stores memory, or does she mean like she just has like no personality? Like trying to figure that one out. Yeah, fan motors are like white noise. It has to be no soul. Gotcha. Only fans and blackout curtains. Yeah. Oh yeah, we definitely need blackout curtains too. My room's always dark, like dark. I love blackout curtains. Dead inside, no emotions. Okay, that makes sense. That's weird. And that gives me like psychopath vibes, you know what I mean? If you're born dead inside with no emotion, like that literally gives me psychopath vibes. maybe she has something wrong with her like prefrontal cortex of her brain. Like maybe like it didn't develop right, or she has like a lot of people who have a prefrontal cortex issues are like that. Her elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. Like so there's this really good documentary I watched called Crazy but Not Insane or something like that. And there's this lady who is about her. She alcohol syndrome, maybe. That could be. That's definitely fetal alcohol syndrome causes a lot of those problems too. And causes a lot of prefrontal cortex damage. But that is a great documentary and faithful. If you've seen it, I was like hooked. So this woman, she gets called as an expert witness in a lot of cases, a lot of like serial killer or just killer cases in general, because she studies killers' brain. She gives killers brain scans and she studies their brain scans if they'll allow them. And she's noticed that people don't usually just kill. Like, you don't wake up one day and just choose to kill because you do. It's more like there's something wrong, usually something wrong with your prefrontal cortex. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I watched it on Hulu, but I'm pretty sure it originated on HBO, so I think it's on HBO too. But I did watch it on Hulu, but I'm pretty sure you can get it on HBO Max. But basically there's like a couple things that could cause this. For one, abuse as a child, or like a major, like if you're not being abused physically, there's like emotional abuse. Like a lot of serial killers had mothers who humiliated them, like severely humiliated them, made them do really humiliating things and talk to them in a way that humiliated them as children. And if you were like abused or treated in that way as a child, a lot of those children's brains did not develop properly because the brain didn't make normal connections. It made, negative connections, I guess. So it would create a lot of gray matter in your brain. And that gray matter, it would cause like a lot of issues. It was either that or so abuse, like humiliation by their parents, a tumor on their prefrontal, or like amygdala, I think it's called. Like sometimes they would get tumors on their amygdalas, or the tumor in their prefrontal cortex, or serious brain injury, fetal alcohol syndrome, stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot that does go back to childhood, but there's also, other influences. And basically, your prefrontal cortex is what controls your impulses. So, like, if it deals with like your emotions and impulse control and things like that. So a lot of people who have impulse problems or a lack of emotion, or they kill somebody, it's usually because of some issue with their prefrontal cortex. Yeah, the amygdala. Yep. Your brain transforms largely in part up until 12, and it changes the brain. Yep. Now, also, a lot of children who never really received like love, that's a big part too. Like, like they didn't receive like physical or attention or like physical love from their parents, stuff like that. It's called Crazy Not Insane, I believe it's called. Oxygen deprivation. Yeah, that's what happened to Dahmer. I think he had some kind of brain issue because he was under anesthesia for too long. I don't know if it was oxygen deprivation, but it had something to do with his brain. Yeah, she got a lot of criticism. Yeah, she did. She did get a lot of criticism, but it does make a lot of sense. She showed, she showed all her brain scans and stuff, and I thought it was a pretty interesting take. I think she got a lot of flack because it almost felt like she was sticking up for killers, but it's not that she was sticking up for them. It was just she was just showing that there's more of a science to it, biopsychology, but yeah, not doctors, only be status of research. Gotcha. Hippocampus and amygdala are so tiny but control so much. Yep. Yeah, that's me. My family didn't ever hug. I didn't realize it was weird till I got older. It definitely had a negative effect on my relationship. Yeah, me too, Sticky. Well, I think it changed for me. Like my mom was affectionate, but then my mom kind of like bounced when I was a teenager, and my dad was very not affectionate. But as I got older, I was able to kind of like realize my dad showed how he cared in like different ways, and I kind of just had to like understand it from that way because he was a guy and he was like a lot of guys are like that, so it's hard being raised by your dad. But I've always made it a point with my own kid to be very like affectionate, and I'm probably not as much as other people are, but I try to be more than because I like sometimes that's just how I was raised. Like I'm one of those people where it's like suck it up type person, and I hate that I'm like that, but that's just how I was raised. So like it drives me crazy when I see people who are sad and then they keep listening to sad music and like wallowing in their sadness, and I'm like stop listening to this shit and put something happy on, like that's how I probably seem cold sometimes, but that's how I was raised, and I'm like that kind of person who like why am I going to keep doing the thing that's making me like that? I need to like get myself out of this type deal. It's very creepy at times when she's alone with that white-haired killer guy and he's being... Oh yeah, that was Ed Gein, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Where she was interviewing him and he kept flipping to different personalities. It's really strange because he would just flip from one personality to another and he'd be super normal and then super weird. Like he would like change in an instant. Hey Kayla. Hey Crystal Ann. Sounds good. Yeah, they didn't really have anything good to talk about, to be honest. Wasn't really much. They didn't really share anything new. So Ed Gein, I'm pretty sure it was Ed Gein that she interviewed, was in the documentary. She has tapes. I think it was Ed Gein. Let me look. She interviewed a serial killer who would often like switch personalities. And I think it was Ed Gein. If I remember, I could be totally wrong, but it's a famous serial killer. All right, it's a documentary film directed and produced by Alex Gibney. It follows the research of psychiatrist Dr. Dorothy Otnell Lewis, who studied the psychology of murders. It is narrated by Laura Dern. The film had its world premiere at Copenhagen International Documentary Festival. Initially, Alex Gibney asked Dorothy Otnell Lewis if she would consult on a planned miniseries he was doing, which was set to star Lardern as a psychiatrist who saw patients on death row. Lewis was delighted and agreed and should give me videotapes of her past cases, which Gibney found interesting. Initially, the film was called Dorothy and Ted and was set to follow Lewis as she investigated serial killer Ted Bundy and reflected back on her interview with him in 1989. However, in the final cut, Bundy appears in a smaller part. Yeah, she does more of like Ed Gein, I'm pretty sure. Like, I feel like Ed Gein's in there more than... It doesn't mention Ed Gein, though. Hold on. I'll find out. But it's really... Dorothy Otman. Maybe it's not Ed Gein. Who is the guy? Who's the guy? The serial killer who wears like... He was really big. And he had glasses. I know, I'm getting him confused with somebody else. He's a really tall dude with glasses. Really... Why can't I think of his damn name? Yeah. Hold on. Here's a review of it. Let's see if... I can't think of his name. I don't know why I'm getting him confused with Ed Gein. It's not Ed Gein, because I just saw a picture of Ed Gein, and that's not him. Hold on. Dr. Lewis also kept an excellent archive. Gibney shows video of her interacting with Arthur Shawcross, a serial killer, as he manifests what Dr. Lewis Oh, that's who it is then. Arthur Shawcross, maybe? Let me see. Let me see his picture. That might be the guy. I think it's Arthur Shawcross. Ed Kemper? It could be Ed Kemper. Let me put it. That might be who I'm thinking of. Ed Kemper is a big dude with the glasses, right? I feel like she looked into Ed Kemper. It might be Arthur. I might be getting that confused with what's that show where they interview the serial killers? I think they interview Ed. It might be Showcross. It was Showcross? Alright. I think I'm getting... There's another, like, show where they interview serial killers, and I might be getting Ed Kemper confused with that. But I feel like Ed Kemper had that dissociative personality disorder, too, and that's why I'm thinking about him. Where he would flip from personality to personality, or like back and forth, you know what I mean? But she did a lot of interviews with famous serial killers, and she would videotape it and show how they would literally... Yeah, Kemper was so cringy, but she showed how they would just like flip from personality to personality, and how they would go into these weird... Yeah, I was thinking of Ed Kemper. That's who I was thinking of, but I think I'm getting two shows mixed in with each other. Or maybe she might interview him in it. I just can't find where it says it. I think I'm thinking, what was that show, Mindhunters? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Don't they have a big Ed Kemper season on that? Yeah, so it was Shawcross. All right, yeah, so that's where I'm getting it from. I was getting that show and this one mixed up. I was like, I know there was some, like, I know Ed Kemper was in a show changing personalities and shit, so it's probably Mindhunters I'm thinking of. Ed Kemper was creepy. That's who I was thinking of, the real tall dude. Yeah, no Blifton. No, am I saying that right? Blifton. Creep factor way up. Yeah, they did do such a good job. You know, I'm really upset they canceled that. Didn't they cancel it, Mindhunters? I wish they would have. Let me see. Yeah, I think they ended it. It was such a good show. I really liked it. In January 2020, Netflix announced the potential for a third season was indefinite hold as Fincher wanted to pursue other projects, but they may revisit the series in the future. Yeah, you didn't miss any new info. It's just the same shit over and over again. They didn't say anything new. They basically just repeated all the same stuff. I don't even know why they even made, I guess to if it's a good show, Netflix will cancel it. You know what show I used to love and they canceled it? There was a show, I can't remember. I think it's called Made in America. And it was on like HBO or one of those shows, and it was about this like group of kids from New York City, I think it was, and they were in like fashion design. It was such a cool show, and I was so into it. And they canceled it. Let me look it up. I think it was called Made in America. HBO. How to Make It in America. That's what it was called. How to Make It in America. And it was like these two kids Kid Cudi was in it. Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock was a good show when I was a kid. What was the song? It's like, Where for another day, down at Fraggle Rock. Facebook comments are tearing them up because no new updates, so why the press are? Yeah, it was kind of like ridiculous to even have it. Like, you haven't seen Mindhunters, Faithful? It's like a show where they focus on different serial killers in different seasons. You don't like cartoons? I love Fraggle Rock. There was another show with like a dragon and I don't like remember anything besides like a dragon, but it was on Nickelodeon. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Let's look up Nickelodeon 1990 shows. It was like they were like Muppet type things. And it was around Fraggle Rock time. Like it was like, I guess I have to put in like 1980 shows. Eureka's Castle? I think that was it. Eureka's Castle. I used to watch that all the time. I'm gonna look it up now. Yes, that's it. They were like Muppets. There was like a bat that wore glasses and the little goofy dragon thing with like one tooth. and Eureka, who had like blonde hair with like colors in her hair. I used to like that show. Best kid show right now is Bluey. You know what kid show I used to like as an adult? Well, Ren and Stimpy was the shit when we were kids. And if you go back now and you look at all the episodes, they were so adult. Like the one at Ren is tripping in a cave on mushrooms. So like it's called Hermit Ren. And Stimpy and Ren get in a fight, and Ren moves out, and he goes and he lives in this cave. And there's all these like mushrooms in the cave, and he's starving, so he eats the mushrooms, and all of a sudden his eyes get all big, and his pupils start spinning, and he's like, all these rocks in the cave are starting to look like people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so adult. They used to shoot Powder Toast Man would shoot powder toast out of his butt, you know. Then they had the log song, rolls downstairs from liver and pears and over your neighbor's dog. It's good for a snack, fits on your back. Log, log, log. Log, log. I used to love that show. I'm good, Robert. How are you? Yeah, that's how the song went, Risk. What about Fred Penner's Place? I don't know if I've ever seen. Is that a show? Fred, I gotta look it up. I used to like Salute Your Shorts and Hey Dude. You guys remember? A little wild, a little strange. Just camping out on the range. Start your horse and come along. You can't get a ride if you can't hold on. Oh, I didn't never watch this. Fred Penner's Place. This is too old for me. I remember Land of the Lost. Yeah, no, it wasn't really meant for kids, but they still played it for kids. But I could watch. There was one where Ren made friends with his fart, I think it was. Yeah, Hey Dude was the shit. But didn't he like make friends with his fart in the one episode? It was such a good show. Stimpy. Oh, it was Stimpy and his fart. That was it. What a great show. Salute Your Shorts. Yeah. We run, we jump, we swim and play, we row, we go on trips. But the thing that lasts forever are our dear friendships. Can't wanna, we hold you in our hearts. I used to watch that one too. Or Wild and Crazy Kids. Out of This World? I don't remember that. Let me look it up. It's like Clarissa Explains It All. Na, 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 na. Na, 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 na. I never watched Out of This World. Na, 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 na. Never trust a fart. Remember Darkwing Duck, Sticky? That was on the WB. Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you call DW. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. I used to love Darkwing Duck. Or Bobby's World. My aunt was a cartoonist. She lived in Burbank, and she would do the drawings on Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and they drew her with like a cheesesteak coming out of her bag in one of the episodes because she was from Philly. Are You Afraid of the Dark was good, yeah. I love that one. It was actually pretty freaking scary too. Or Doug, remember? I love Doug and the Beats. You gotta shout, you gotta scream, you gotta shout, you gotta scream, you gotta shout your lungs out. You gotta roll that window down. Or I need more allowance, you're late. Why? Because I do. I need to buy some CDs. I need to buy some gum. Why? Because I want some. I used to love all the. My son had a cap and ran around saying he was Darkwing Duck. That's great. You hate it, Darkwing Duck? I love Darkwing Duck. Tailspin and Chip and Dale. Rescue Range. I remember all the theme songs. Chip and Dale when there's danger. And then DuckTales went, sometimes some crimes go slipping through the cracks, but these two gumshoes are picking up their tracks. There's no case too big, no case too small. When you need help, just call Oh, that was Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. What's, hold on, DuckTales. Oh, DuckTales went, DuckTales, woo! I don't remember Tailspin's song. DuckTales. I remember Tailspin. That was when they flew the plane. The guy flew the plane. I just don't remember how the theme song went for that. I know. I just heard about the Green Power Ranger. That's crazy. The new, well, yeah, the green one was the guy with the long hair, right? He was the cute one. Yep. He was like the good-looking one back in the day. The red one was popular too. I don't know how I remember all the Legends of the Hidden Temple. They like brought that back, but it's not the same. And the thing with the Craig Rock, what was that called? We had to climb the Craig Rock. Global Guts. DuckTales was, yeah. DuckTales was the one, or like the old guy duck who had all the money. Yeah. That was DuckTales Sticky. It must be the same age as your kids. I'm in my 30s, so early 30s. Yeah, then he became the White Power Ranger, yep. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh, well, when I got older as an adult, I loved that kid show, The Wonder Pets. I just love the theme song for that. I used to watch that while I babysat kids, and they'd watch it all the time with the little Winnie, Tuck, and Ming Ming too. The Wonder Pets are here for you. And then the phone rang, and they'd be like, the phone is ringing. The phone will be right there. There's an animal in trouble. There's an animal in trouble somewhere. It's a baby calf. It's stuck in the tree. This is serious. We have to help him. I used to crack up at that. TV was so good then. Now TV's kind of just like, my kid don't, well, I don't know. I mean, now they have like Netflix and everything, but my kid don't even like TV anymore. Like we had like Full House and Step by Step, Seventh Heaven, like all them good shows. And now your oldest watched Punky Brewster. I remember Punky Brewster. Like I didn't watch it that much, but I remember it. But TV was so good back then. Thank God it's Friday. I used to come home every day. In the morning, I feel like in the morning I used to watch Sweet Valley High before school. That and Saved by the Bell. And then when I got Family Matters, yeah, Jetsons. And then when I got home, I would watch Full House, Step by Step. There's another one. I can't remember what it was, but I always couldn't wait to get home and watch Step by Step. I like that better than Full House. But I watched them all. But now it's like, they don't keep shows long enough like that. Like those shows went on for season after season after season after season, and it's not like that anymore. 21, 33, and 31. Well, I'm 33, so. Martin was great. I liked Martin. That was funny. Oh man, Texas, you have one right after another. At least they're all close in age, though. Yeah, I liked Martin. I can't think of any other. I do miss Are You Afraid of the Dark? That show was actually pretty scary. My dad used to like Mystery Science Theater or whatever. He would make me watch that and Perot with him. You guys remember Perot? I hated that show, but my dad loved it. They are their best friends. I was 21 with all of them. So I'm guessing you didn't go out to a lot of bars at 21, huh? Oh, that looks good. I'm scrolling down YouTube and shepherd's pie looks really good right now. Yeah, the Jetsons and the Flintstones were good. You know what? I still love Looney Tunes. I could watch Looney Tunes for hours, especially the one where Bugs Bunny, the Barber of Seville, when he and he pours the tonic on Elmer Fudd's head, and then he massages it in, and then the plants grow, and then he lawnmowers it. That one cracks me up. I still crack up every time I watch that. And then the other one where he's Leopold, and he's the, I don't know, what do you call them? The conductor, the acapella guys, conductor. And they're like, Leopold. It's Leopold. Oh my God, Leopold. And he comes in and he's got his bunny ears slicked back, and he's wearing that little George Washington white wig. And he starts doing the hand thing for the guy to sing. And he holds his hand up for a really long time, and the guy's turning every color in the face, trying to hold his note. And it's things hitting him in the face, and he's sweating, and then finally he drops it. I don't know why. I just, every time that one comes on, between the Leopold one, the Barber of Seville, and then the one where Elmer Fudd is a Viking, and Bugs Bunny pretends he's the fair maiden, and he's riding on that horse, and he's and Elmer Fudd falls in love with him, and then he dies. That one cracks me up. Bugs Bunny, I feel like it's one of those timeless cartoons that'll just always be funny, and it's funny for adults and kids, and then you watch it as an adult, and you're you understand it more, and it's even funnier when you get older. My dad and I watched Planet of the Apes. Mom was Little House on the Prairie. Grandma was Treasure Island. And Grandma and Dad was the old westerns Rifleman. Planet of the Apes, my aunt was loved Planet of the Apes. My mom loved Little House on the Prairie. She loved any musical. What the hell is that musical called? Oh my gosh. The Sound of Music. She loved The Sound of Music. She loved it. The original, It Takes Two twins. What was that movie called? Where they switch, the twins switch. She loved the original one of that. No, it's not that. It's not It Takes Two. What's the one where they go off to camp? The two redheads? And they switch. The twins, they switch. Oh my God, I can't think of the name of it. It's going to drive me crazy. The Parent Trap? That's it. The original Parent Trap she loved. And she loved Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. And the one with Singing in the Rain. She loved all this. You grew up with the Brady Bunch and Partridge Family. I watched a lot of the Brady Bunch episodes. They were pretty good. Yeah, Lindsay Lohan. Yeah, The Parent Trap. That's it. Took me a minute to think about it, but so that was a remake. The original Parent Trap, my mom loved. Like the Lindsay Lohan one was a remake. The original was made in 1961. I'm trying to see if I can find it. I had these two. Hey, Mike's car hole. We're just talking about old movies and old shows and sing-alongs and stuff like that. I mean, I grew up on Disney. I love every Disney movie there is, to be honest. That movie, the old Parent Trap with these two girls. And yeah, Allie, I'll check it. Hitchcock, yeah. My mom liked Hitchcock stuff. And my mom and Papa both like Hitchcock. Old. You know what? I like. You know what Hitchcock movie that I really enjoyed? I watched it with my dad. I think it was called And Then There Were None. Is that the one with the Indians on the table? And it was like they all went to that. You know what I'm talking about? I think it was called And Then There Were None. I'll look it up. No. Maybe that's not it. I'm pretty sure it was a Hitchcock movie. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. What was the movie where they had like the 12 Indians on the dinner table and each time somebody died? Maybe it wasn't a Hitchcock movie. Isn't it like an Agatha Christie book? I thought. Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen The Birds and The Man Who Knew Too Much. What was that movie? Now it's gonna drive me crazy. I swear it was a Hitchcock movie, but it's not. Birds was a good movie. My uncle made me watch this silent film. Oh, and the original Psycho, of course, was great. My aunt or my uncle, he loves horror movies, and he made me watch this old silent film, and it was scary. It was called The Bat, and it freaked me out when I was a kid. I had to fight my brother. He watched the original Batman. That was back when you had to get up and change the channel. Lots of fights over the channel knob. You know, it was a great movie. My dad always made me would watch old movies. What's the one with Marilyn Monroe? Some Like It Hot. That's a good movie. I always liked that movie. Where they dressed up as the girls in the band. I'm trying to find the Bat movie. It was scary. It was called The Bat. It was like a silent film. They just had, The Bat. Silent film. It was a 1926 silent film. I'll have to watch it on YouTube. Okay, sounds good, Allie. Sorry, I'm checking my email real quick. That is a 1926 silent comedy. Yeah, it was a weird movie. It was kind of scary. I mean, I was a kid, so I don't really remember, but I was scared. He used to make me watch like Tremors and Night of the Living Dead, and he made me Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, I think the one was called. And then we would watch what was the movie they remade it where the killer, or they kept calling the house and like the phone kept ringing in the house and the girl kept answering and nobody would say anything. And then they called a bunch of times and finally she calls the police and she's like, I keep getting this weird call, blah, blah, blah. And then the police call back and she thinks it's a guy and they're like, he's in the house. Oh, that scared the crap out of me. Debbie Does Dallas. What is that? What they remade it. What is that movie called? When a Stranger Calls? Is that what it's called? When a Stranger Calls, I think it's called. That was scary. The original one. Oh, and you know what was a great movie that I really used to love? Hold on. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I mean, honestly, though, every single movie that Richard Dreyfuss is in, I just love. Like Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He's just a great actor. Like every old movie that he's in, I just really loved. Not the newer ones per se, but like trying to think. There's another one that I really liked that he was in. I just love Richard Dreyfuss. I don't know why, but I do like his movies. I can't think of the other one that he's in that I really liked. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Dave is yelling at somebody in the background of the game. The only thing on PBS was Mr. Rogers. Ugh, I can't stand Mr. Rogers. Who could watch Mr. Rogers? Like, it was so corny. Even as a kid, I thought that show was so corny. Like, oh, our mail's here. Let's go talk to the mailman. Like, it was terrible. I hate it, Mr. Rogers. Debbie Does Dishes. There's a Debbie Does Dishes. I did not know that.
I mean, when you average 7.
Oh yeah, Clint Eastwood movies are good too. I don't know why. The Big Fix. Richard Dreyfuss was in that. American Graffiti. Isn't he in that? That was a great movie. Yeah. I love Richard Dreyfuss. That's 26 films. I love alien movies. Any alien movie and Close Encounters of the Third Kind was just so good. When they have that big, they have to do the big like, what's it called? Keyboard thing to talk to them with the lights. Oh yeah, he's in Mr. Holland's Opus. Goodbye, girl. He was in Stand By Me? I didn't know he was in that. That's a great movie too. Hey, Lori. Yeah, I like West Side Story too. Mars Attacks. We're just talking about old movies and reminiscing on cartoons and old movies and TV shows. Kind of got off true crime a while ago. Far Out Space Nuts. Spaceball. Anyone remember Blank Man? That was good. And the Ninja Turtle movies. I might end it though, because I'm kind of tired. So I didn't realize that we've been on here for 2 hours just bullshitting about old movies. I never seen the Cats musical. I'll have to watch it. I've never seen it. I don't know. Something about people dressing up in cats always was weird to me. But I'm gonna hop off because I'm hungry, and it was kind of like an impromptu live. I was just coming on to do the press conference and chit chat for a little bit, but I'm gonna hop off. I'll be back on Friday. Hopes will be home in an hour, and I ain't got nothing done. Sorry, Texas. It's my fault. I need to get some stuff done too. I need to like get on it. I haven't done wash in like 2 days. You know, shit is just piling up. I need to get my life together, so I'm gonna have to hop off and do that. But see you, everyone. I'll be back Friday. Keep a lookout for Friday. It was fun reminiscing with y'all. Thanks for revisiting the past with me for a little bit. All right, see you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, everyone have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a good time with your families and eat all the good food. And yeah, I'm going to go wash some clothes, get my shit together. I'll be kid free for a couple days until Friday, or I mean Saturday. So happy ham day, not turkey. Hey, I love me some turkey. So I'm gonna go get. Now that I'm kid free, I'm gonna go get some shit done where I will have all the time in the world. All right, talk to y'all later. Bye.